Good day. How is everyone today? This is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. And glad you're sticking with us. I'm starting a little early this morning. Just want to make sure that all the bugs are gone and out of the electronics. It seems like it's okay. Can you hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me. That is if anybody's really listening or there. I know Sister Jeannie can hear me. Thank you, Maria. Okay, and CJ, good. All right. Sound is working. I think it was just because of me setting up the live stream so quickly that my sound didn't sync correctly. S-Y-N-C, not S-I-N-K. Good old English language, right? Right, Maria? So we're going to continue with St. Catherine of Siena today and again talk about the light. And I wanted to preface this with another, what's the word? I guess it's a warning to read. I'll read it the way it's written, and then you can pick out, probably if you have a good discerning ear, what they changed over time. I can just tell. It's one of those things I have that you can tell that they've changed the wording to make it more to make it fit modernity. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention was that if you well, you have to be tough in a certain sense in order to not only follow the Mass, this Mass that I say, but also to follow the website together with it. So there are a lot of people that come and see the Latin Mass, which they're attracted to, but then they fade away because of the doctrine that we preach. Good day, CW. How are you? And those are the strength ones. Those have courage who stay. The ones who fade away, they may come back though. So we must love them. Okay, and that's backwards, but it says, maybe it's not. I don't know what the camera does. Love bears all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. So we have to continue to love them, our neighbor, unconditionally, and pray that they will receive the discerning grace from the Trinitarian Theophany. All right, so again, listen closely to the words used. And one of them that I wanted to mention, and it's a concept that is of flame and light. When this was written, it appears that there wasn't electricity back then. Okay, so our understanding of light, a lot of it is based on electricity, which is not flame. So it's kind of, especially the young people who aren't used to candle use much, but there's the light, and if you think about this, light does come from flame. And so we're going to talk about fire and flame, and not in the hell sense of the torment, but in the brightness. And I think one of the analogies, or not necessarily an analogy, but one of the insights that I got with regards to flame is that it has different temperatures. So it burns at different temperatures, and the light that it gives off is different colors. And it seems to me that in hell, the flames are more intense, yet they may not be as bright. So there's a little thing there. You think of yellow flames and burning, and which is probably that which relates to the body. So I'm going off into some esoteric stuff that probably people are like, maybe I'll go back to sleep. No, so let's get started with Catherine of Siena and Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum and see what they have to say about that. In nomine Dei Matronam Nostrae et Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Let us place ourselves in the presence of the Trinitarian Theophany and in Catholic contemplation humbly venerate the Divine Family. Most holy and venerable Trinitarian Theophany, one Divine Family, I believe that thou art here present. I venerate thee with the deepest humility. I render to thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to thee. O Trinitarian Theophany, relying on thine infinite goodness and promises, I hope to obtain pardon of my sins, the help of thy grace and life everlasting, through the merits of Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Matronam Nostrae. O Trinitarian Theophany, I love thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of thee, and I forgive all who have injured me and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Let us thank the Trinitarian Theophany for the many graces that we receive and offer ourselves in our sufferings up to the Trinitarian Theophany in heaven, and for the souls in purgatory as well. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, I most humbly thank thee for all the favors thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in thy service. I consecrate to thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, that there may be none that is not animated by thy love, but that would not tend to thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good, and let us beg of the Trinitarian Theophany the graces which are necessary to us. O Trinitarian Theophany, thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of thy grace. Deny me not thy grace, proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which thou forbiddest, to practice the good which thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please thee to send me. O Deum Matronam Nostrae, I place myself under thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins, because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell, but most of all because they offend thee, O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, who are all good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve with the help of thy grace to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. One thing I noticed in the interpretation is they kind of like Protestantize it a little bit so it doesn't quote unquote offend the quote unquote Christians. And that's unfortunate because it really takes away from the depth of meaning. And if you've ever noticed, you can kind of tell people who understand certain things that they are Catholic. And so we have to pray for all those who think they know but don't. All right, so the question I left with yesterday was, whom have I entrusted with its administration? And that was Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, asking St. Catherine the administration was, and again, I think that word was changed, of the Holy Catholic Church. And so here he begins and answers her. Not answers her, but explains it. My ministers in the mystical body of the Holy Church, so that you may have life, receiving his body in food and his blood in drink. I have said to thee that this body is, as it were, a sun, S-U-N. Wherefore you cannot receive the body without the blood, or the blood, or the body without the soul of the incarnate Word, nor the soul nor the body without the divinity of me, the eternal God, because none of these can be separated from each other. As I said to thee in another place, that the divine nature never left the human nature, either by death or from any other cause, so that you receive the whole divine essence in that most sweet sacrament, concealed under the whiteness of the bread. For as the sun, S-U-N, cannot be divided into light, heat, and color, the whole of God, the Trinitarian Theophany, and the whole of man cannot be separated under the white mantle of the host. For even if the host should be divided into 1,000,000 particles, if it were possible, in each particle should I be present, whole Trinitarian Theophany and whole man. When you break a mirror, the reflection to be seen in it is not broken. Similarly, when the host is divided, God, the Trinitarian Theophany, and man are not divided, but remain in each particle. Nor is the sacrament diminished in itself, except as far as may be in the following example. If thou hast a light, and the whole world should come to thee in order to take light from it, the light itself does not diminish, and yet each person has it all. It is true that every one participates more or less in this light, according to the substance into which each one receives the fire. I will develop this metaphor further, than that most may better understand the better, and understand me. Suppose that there are many who bring their candles, one weighing an ounce, others 2 or 6 ounces, or a pound, or even more, and light them in the flame. In each candle, whether large or small, is the whole light, that is to say, the heat, the color, and the flame. Nevertheless, thou wouldst judge that he whose candle weighs an ounce has less of the light than he whose candle weighs a pound. Now the same thing happens to those who receive this sacrament. Each one carries his own candle, that is the holy desire with which he receives the sacrament, which of itself is without light, and lights it by receiving this sacrament. I say without light because of yourselves you can do nothing, though I have given you the material with which you can receive this light and feed it. The material is love, for through love I created you, and without love you cannot live. Your being given to you through love has received the right disposition in holy baptism, which you receive in the virtue of the blood of the Word. For in no way other could you participate in this light. You would be like a candle with no wick inside it, which cannot burn or receive light, if you have not received in your souls the wick which catches the divine flame, that is to say, the holy faith, which you receive by grace in baptism, united with the disposition of your soul created by me, so fitted for love that without love, which is her very food, she cannot live. Where does the soul united in this way obtain light? At the fire of my divine love, loving and fearing me and following the doctrine of my truth. It is true that the soul becomes more or less lighted according to the material which it brings to the fire, for although you all have one and the same material, in that you are all created to my image and likeness, and being Christians, here's where they change the word, Catholics, possess the light of holy baptism. Each of you may grow in love and virtue by the help of my grace, as may please you. Not that you change the form of which I have given you, but that you increase your strength in love and your free will by using it while you have time. For when time is past, you can no longer do so. So that you can increase in love, as has been said, coming with love to receive this sweet and glorious light, which I have given you as food for service, through my ministers, priests, and you receive this light according to the love and fiery desire with which you approach it. The light itself you receive entire, as I have said, in the example of those who, in spite of the difference in weight of their candles, all receive the entire light, and not divided, because it cannot be divided, it has been said, as has been said, either on account of any imperfection of yours who receive, or of the minister, the priest, but you personally participate in this light. That is, in the grace which you receive in this sacrament, according to the holy desire with which you dispose yourselves to receive it. He who should go to this sweet sacrament in the guilt of mortal sin will receive no grace therefrom, though he actually receive the whole of God, the Trinitarian Theophany, and the whole of man. Dost thou know the condition of the soul who receives unworthily? She is like a candle on which water has fallen, which can do nothing but crackle when brought near the flame. For no sooner has the fire touched it than it is extinguished, and nothing remains but smoke. So this soul has cast the water of guilt within her mind upon the candle which she received in holy baptism, which has drenched the wick of the grace of baptism. And not having heated it at the fire of the true contrition and confession, goes to the table of the altar to receive this light with her body and not with her mind. Wherefore the light, since the soul is not disposed as she should be for so great a mystery, does not remain by grace in that soul, but leaves her. And in the soul remains only greater confusion, for her light is extinguished and her sin increased by her darkness. Of the sacraments she feels nothing but the crackling of a remorseful conscience, not through the defect of the light itself, for that can receive no hurt, but on account of the water that was in the soul, which impeded her proper disposition, so that she could not receive the light. See therefore that in no way can this light, united with its heat and its color, be divided, either by the scanty desire of the soul when she receives the sacrament, or by any defect which may be in the soul, or by any defect of him who administers it, as I told thee of the sun, which is not defiled by shining on anything foul. So the sweet light of this sacrament cannot be defiled, divided, or diminished in any way, nor can it be detached from its orbit. If all the world should receive in communion the light and heat of this Son, S-U-N, the Word, my only begotten Son, Deum Iesum Christum, would not be separated from me, the true Son, S-U-N, his eternal Father, because in his mystical body, the Holy Church, he is administered to whoever will receive him. He remains wholly with me, and yet you have him, whole God and whole man, as I told thee in the metaphor of the light, that if all the world came to take light from it, each would have it entire, and yet it would remain whole. We'll stop there. Tomorrow, how the bodily sentiments are all deceived in the aforesaid sacrament, but not those of the soul. Therefore it is with the latter that one must see, taste, and touch it, and of a beautiful vision this soul had upon this subject. And with regards to today's reading, that's one of the differences with the Protestant error, is that that you receive grace immediately and forever because of the redemption of and the offer of Deum Iesum Christum. Here, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum explains the error of that thinking, in that when you commit mortal sin, okay, that you're not receiving the light, and that's why there's such an issue with America today, a Protestant quote-unquote nation. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apote, oremus. O Trinitarian Theophany, the Creator and Redeemer of all the faithful, grant to the souls of thy servants and handmaids the remission of all their sins, that they may obtain by loving prayers the forgiveness which they have always desired, who livest and reignest with thee, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum hoc immaculatum hostium, quam ego indignus famulus tuus offerit tibi Deum meum vivum et verum, pro innumerabilibus peccatis et offensionibus et negligentiis meis, et pro omnibus circumstantibus, sed pro omnibus fidelibus Catholicorum vivis atque defunctis ut mihi et idis proficiat ad salutem. Deum qui humanae substantia dignitatem mirabilita condidis et mirabilis reformasti da nobis spiritus atquae ad vinim stadium, eius divinitatis esse consortes qui divinitatis nostrae fieri dignatis est paticeps. Deum Iesum Christum Filium, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Offerimus tibi Deum calicem salutaris tuum deprecantis clementium, ut in respectu divinae majestatis tuae pro nostra totis mundi salute, cum adore suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in animo contrito suscipiam rate Deum Iesum Christum, et sec fiat sacrificium nostrum ec spiritu tu hodie, uplaciat tibi Deum antronam nostra et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Veni sanctificator Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctificite blata prosequendo, et accepere hoc sacrificium tuo sancto nomini praeparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas Sancoblationem cum tibi efferemus, a memoriam passiones, resurrectionis et ascensionis Deum Iesum Christum, et in honorem Deum matronam nostrae et a Papa Peter Sanctorum et Istorum et omnium Sanctorum, ut idis proficiat ad honorem nobis autem et salutem, et idi pro nobis intercedere dinenter in caelis, quorum amorum agimus in tedis pediendum Christum Deum nostrum. Orate, ut meum equestrum sacrificium acceptabile fiat ab Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipiat Deum Iesum Christum, sacrificium de manibus tuis et laudam et gloriam nominis sui ad utilitatem quoque nostrum totiusque ecclesiae suae sanctae. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apote, sursum corda habemus ad Deum. Gratias agamus Deum nostrum, dignum et justum est, de igitor clementes in mater et pater, Deum matronam nostrae, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per Deum Iesum Christum Filium tuum Deum nostrae, supplices rogamus et petimus. Uti accepta habeas, et sanctificas, haec sanctam sacrificium idibata. In primis quae tibi afferemus pro ecclesiam tuum sanctam catholicam, quam pacificare, custodire, adorare et regere dineris tot orbiterarum atquae catholicae. Memento Deum famorum tuorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering. We pray for Katie, Gage, Neil and our Lively, Maria Josephina Mose, Mark Jr., Henry, Barbara, Benedict, and Robert Santa Croce, Casey, Mr. Nobody, Amble Tink, the Cantu and Duarte families, Michaela McLarnon and family, Janelina Laurie Aaron and family, Maria and the Lineweber family, the Cahill, Kendrick, Dosco, Nye, Tafur, Began, Wolf, and Kane families, and all their intentions. We pray for Mr. Nobody to receive the funding and strength needed to complete the first Sedevacantist Catholic Council office at Monastery of Illinois. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanctioning of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, child abuse of any kind, anywhere, place, or time. We pray for the establishment of a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor, human value, medium exchange with no usury. We pray for courageous leaders to step forward of this Catholic society to reclaim that which God intended, the Trinitarian Theophany. We pray for wisdom and all the virtues with regards to raising families on small farm atmospheric homes with quality vegetables and fruits and with no toxic substances. We pray for the elimination of all harmful radiation waves in our air and in our homes. We pray to shut down CERN, close all gateways and portals, and send all demons back through them. We ask Deum Matronam Nostra et Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum with this Mass to destroy the satanic document of the Vatican, which of their law, which is the Jewish Talmud. We ask you to destroy Rome and the Vatican and recognize the transfer of the authority of the Catholic Church to be in Fatima, Portugal. We ask you to release the souls controlled by the demons Lilith and Asmodeus and send them to the demons to the bottom pits of hell and venture the souls this way. Please also block the passage of any so-called pandemic treaty by the WHO. Again, they cannot fool us a second time. Please also block any attempts by the WEF to interrupt our livelihoods with their psychopathic tendencies. We also ask you to destroy all forms of Freemasonry and its tentacles anywhere and everywhere throughout the lands and bring the members into the submission of the Trinitarian Theophany through correct baptism and confession. And we also ask you to block all attempts by the Tavistock Institute to negatively affect people's minds through media. All these things we ask in accordance with the Trinitarian Theophany and their will. Et omnium circumstantiam quorum tibi fides cognita est et nota devotio, pro quibus tibi efferimus, vel qui tibi orofant sacrificium laudis, pro se suis omnibus, pro redemptione animarum suarum, pro spe salutis et golamitatis suae tibi, quae volta sua, aeterno Deum vivo et vero. Communicantes, sed memoriam venerantes in primis gloriosae, semper Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et beatorum martyrium tuorum Papa Sancti Petri, et Sancti Lucia, et Sancti Jacinta, et Sancti Francisco, et Sancti Juan Diego, et omnem sanctorum tuorum quorum meritis, praecibusque concedas ut in omnibus protectionis tuae monuam exilio, per innum Christum Deum nostrum, quam oblationem te Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibum, consecratum acceptabilem que fecere digneris ut nobis corpum, et sanguim fiat delictis mi filium tuum Deum Iesum Christum, qui pridie quam patoretur recepit panem sanctus ac honorabilis manus suas. Et derivatis oculis in caelum aete Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum suum omnipotentem tibi gratias agens, consecravit, fregit diquil omnis sui dicens accipite et mandocat ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simile modo postquam ceremonia est accipiens et hunc praeparum calicem in sancta sacro honorabilis manus suas, idem tibi gratias agens Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, consecrave dedique luminis sui dicens accipite, et vivite ex omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei, mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis effundetur in remissionem peccatorum, haequo est cum purificeritis in me manu facietis. Unde et memoris Deum noster virtui, sed plebs tua sancta iustum Christum filium tuum Deum nostrae, tam beate passionis nec non et nefarious rejectionis, sed et in caelos gloriosae ascensionis offerimus praeclare maestati tui de tuis donis actatis, supra quae propitio ac sereno vultu respicieri digneris. Supplices te ragamus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, ibe hec preferite manus tuum, ut potur ex apparatis participationis sacrosanctam Deum Filium tuum, corpus et sanguinem subsenimus, omni sanctificatione caelestia gratia Dei per amor pediendum Christum Deum nostrae. We pray for those who have died. We especially pray for Tom Arrigo, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis Deum et omnibus in Christum quiscentibus locum refugere illucis et pacis et laude est per amor pediendum Christum Deum nostrum, per quem hec omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivicas, consecratis et praestas nobis. Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso, est tibi Deum Mater omnipotenti in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Dea, Matronam Nostrae, gratia plena Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum tecum. Dea Matronam Nostrae, Materam Deum Iesum Christum, misericordia nobis, peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Libera nos quaesimus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, ab omnibus malis, praeteritis, praesentibus et futuris, et intercedente beate gloriosa semper Deum Matronam Nostrae. Cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis ta propitiis pacem in diebus nostris. Ut opi misericordiae tuae aduiti et peccato, simus semper liberi et ab omni perturbatione securi. Pediendum Deum nostrum Iesum Christum Filium tuum Deum nostrum, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum Iesum Christum sit semper vobiscum, et quoque apud te. Haec commixtio et consecratio copris et sanguinis Deum Iesum Christum fiat accipientibus nobis in ad salutem aeternam. Pax tecum, et quoque apud te. Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum Matronam Nostrae, cooperante Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per mortem tuam unum vivificasti, libera me per hoc sacrosanctum corpus et sanguinem tuum ab omnibus iniquitatibus meis, et universis malis et facme tui semper in hadare mandatis, et numquam separati permittas, qui cum meo Deum Matronam Nostrae et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum vivis et regnam aeternam. perceptio corporis tui Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego indignius sumere praesumo non mihi proveniat in judicium et condonationem, sed pro tua pietate prosit mihi ad tudum edimitis corporis, et ad me delam percipiendam, qui vivis serenas cum Deum matronam nostra in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, panem celestem accipiem et nomen Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Dea matronam nostra non sum dignis, ut intercedete meis in tantere verbos sempiternum mea. Deum Iesum Christum non sum dignis, ut intercedete meis in tantere verbos sempiternum mea. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum non sum dignis, ut intercedete meis in tantere verbos sempiternum mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Quid retribuam Deum Iesum Christum pro omnibus quae retribuit mihi, calicem saetaris et cipiem et nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum invocabo, laudans invocabo Deum matronam nostra et ab inimicis meis salvusero. Sanguis Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Quod oris subsumus Deum Iesum Christum puramente capiamus et immune et temperae fide nobis remedium sempiternum. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum quod somsi et sanguis quam potavi adhariat visceribus meis et praesta, ut in me non remanient scelero macula quem impura et sancta reficerunt sacramenta. Deum vobiscum, et quoque potei, oremus. May the prayer of thy suppliants profit the souls of thy servants and handmaids, we beseech thee, O Trinitarian Theophany, that thou mayest free them from all sins and make them sharers in thy redemption, who livest and reignest with thee, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apotei, ite mise est, Deum gratia. Placia tibi sancta Trinitam obsequium servitutis meae, et praesta ut sacrificium corocolis tuae majestatis in illus alteri tibi seta captabile mique et omnibus, pro quibus irut octoliciti miserante propitiabile per Christum Deum nostrum. Sanctificat vos omnipotens Deum, Matronam et Filium et Spiritum Sanctum, Deum Matronam Nostra et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany, I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of Deum Iesum Christum, present here in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which he himself is offended, and through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart and the immaculate heart of Deum Matronam Nostrae, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Deum Matronam Nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. Thank you again for attending. Appreciate you all. Please have a great day. Thank you for your donations and for your prayers especially. Please pass that on to your neighbor and sanctify all those you meet. We'll see you tomorrow.